Hi, my name is Manuel Corazo, author of the book Torrejón during the Cold War. I'm incredibly happy to announce the release of the second edition and happy that this book was finalist in the Book Excellence Awards. As you all know by now, this book is about one of the greatest Air Force bases in Europe, Torrejón, also headquarters of the 16th Air Force. It is a journey through history, a history of two countries, two air forces, that they lived together for almost 40 years. From the first days of the base in 1957, with the B-47 bombers, all the way to the end in 1992, with the last 4 F-16s leaving the base. A journey that is about operations, life on base, wings, divisions, squadrons. A lot of history and a lot of incredible and unique pictures. I want to say thank you to all the readers for their support and great comments about the book. Looking forward to hear more in our webpage, and thanks to all the people who make this great book possible. Thank you.
Hello, I'm José Carlos Bárcena, co-author of the book Torrejón during the Cold War, along with my friend and companion at the Sempre Brothers Foundation, Manuel Carazo. This book lives up to the motto of our foundation, brotherhood between the armed forces of the United States and Spain. The idea of this book arose from the links that Manuel and I have with the base. Manuel in the first person, and I by close relatives who were stationed at the base. And also because the topic had not been addressed before. This book is not only about the units that passed through the base, but also by little-known events. I hope this book will be entertaining and helpful for those interested in the history of the United States and Spain Air Forces. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Susan Solomont. I'm the author of Stella the Ambassador, the story of Stella Blue, a very cute cockapoo, who was the ambassador when her father was the U.S. ambassador to Spain. It's a tale about diplomacy designed to entertain young children and everyone. I'm also here to talk about my own book, Lost and Found in Spain, Tales of an Ambassador's Wife. This is my memoir and a travelogue written about the time when my husband, Alan Solomont, was the U.S. ambassador to Spain and Andorra from 2009 to 2013. I hope you'll read both books and find them enjoyable and informative. But today, I'm really here to talk about my friend Manny Carrazzo's book, Torrejón during the Cold War. Manny is a friend, and we got to know Manny during our time as U.S. ambassador, my time as the spouse in Spain. Manny was a great friend to the U.S. Embassy and a great friend to the Marines abroad. And he wrote this book, giving us a thorough, deep dive into Torrejón Air Force Base and the men and women who served there. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. Felicidades, Manny. Enhorabuena, and Semper Fi. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alex De Jesus, or De Jesus if you're Spanish. I'm happy and proud that there's a book about Torrejón Air Base. This one called Torrejón during the Cold War. I'm retired from the Air Force now, but I was part of the 401st Tactical Fighter Wing. I was in aircraft maintenance, and I worked on the flight line as an avionics technician on the F-16 fighters. I was there from 1985 until the base drawdown in '92. During that time, there were 3 squadrons still flying F-16s at TJ, 612th, 613th, and the 614th. I was with the 614th, the Lucky Devils. Well, I was an avionics technician, and I worked on communications, navigation systems, as well as radar and flight controls and other systems on the F-16 aircraft. Towards the end of my time at Torrejón, I worked in the maintenance support section, what we call the tool room. And I was the equipment custodian. I was the one in charge of all of our test equipment and special tools, making sure they're available and working well for the technicians to use on the flight line. It was a very big job, especially on deployments. The book talks about the 401st Wing's contribution to the Persian Gulf War. Torrejón was a very busy place at that time, even though it was supposed to shut down. The 614th, my unit went to Doha, Qatar. I remember boarding an airplane and flying there and not having any idea where we were going. And when we arrived there, pretty much looked around at a bare base. There was not much there, and we had to build a structure to work out of. It was a very stressful time and very memorable. It was kind of the highlight of my career. Got to know people and form lasting relationships. The people I keep in touch with today, almost 30 years later. Well, I love the book. It's a whole history of the base at Torrejón and how it became the home of the 401st Tactical Fighter Wing. And I'm proud to be part of that. I especially like Wade Payton's story. He's one of the pilots, and he flew one of the first F-16s into Torrejón in 1983. Kind of a fun story to read. There was a slight mishap with one of his wingmen on landing. But anyway, Colonel Payton also, in the end, flew the last F-16 out of Torrejón after the base drawdown. I can relate to that, sort of. I arrived in Spain after the F-16s replaced the older F-4s. And I was still there to watch the last F-16s leave that base.
Hi, my name is Santiago Tena. I live in Madrid. I'm a retired lawyer. My specialty was aeronautical law, and I have interested in history of aviation all around the world, or the Spanish. It's the same for me. When I found this book, I found it highly interesting because Torrejón Air Base is an iconic place for all the persons interested in the history of the Air Force, the Spanish Air Force and the American Air Force. This book tells us how from the 1953 Pax from Madrid, it became the history. The base was built, and at the end of the 50s it was working with many units operating from it. Units from fighters or bombers, and this book tells us the history of each of these units and dispatches and the personal account
and the personal stories of people who were there, and the pilots. It's a highly interesting book. And the base of Torrejón has been part of the history of Madrid because it was a little place where you can find America in Madrid. I still remember that place, the Royal Oak, where the families of the militaries who served in the base lived. If you were there, it's like a little America. And I still remember those times where the open days of the base with American and Spanish Air Forces was called the Friendship Days. By the time in the 60s, I was so fortunate that I can saw the Thunderbirds flying the F-100. Was impressive. Was the first time I ever heard the sound of an afterburner. Then in the 60s, in the 70s, I saw the Thunderbirds again with the Phantom, and even in the 1973, I saw the Blue Angels. This being in the base of Torrejón is part of America. You can pick hot dogs, and if you are lucky enough to go to the supermarket, you can buy a huge turkey or a Coca-Cola can. The only Coca-Cola in Spain were by this time was in small bottles. And the bowling, and one thing is very important and still survives, the golf course. I'm as a retired lawyer, play golf, and I find it a very, very interesting place. Now, the base is the nest of most important, from one of the most important units of the Spanish Air Force, the ala 12. No le busques tres pies. Don't tread at me, says the cat. That's all. I hope you find very interesting to take a look of this iconic base in Madrid, Spain. Thank you very much.
Soy Roberto Lambrasón, director ejecutivo de la Fundación Sempre Rodes en España. Bien, estamos hablando de un libro publicado, un libro que desde luego está teniendo bastante éxito a nivel internacional y la verdad que merece la pena leer y estudiar. Esto simplemente también cuenta una historia olvidada que a su vez es súper importante para la generación de hoy en día. En el año 53, el 23 de septiembre, pues hubo un acuerdo firmado entre Estados Unidos y España. Entre ellos, entre los dos gobiernos, acordaron 4 bases del territorio español a cambio de ayuda económica y ayuda militar, junto con el concordato de la Iglesia, firmado un mes antes, evidentemente. La integración definitiva en el bloque occidental tras el aislamiento que había desde el final de la Segunda Guerra Mundial. Bueno, dicha base se asentó en la Sexta Fuerza Aérea Norteamericana, junto a la estrategia durante la Guerra Fría. Se estableció la 65 División, siendo que en España en esos momentos no pertenecían a la OTAN. Entonces, en los años 60 pasaron los bombarderos B-47. Tras leer y observar este libro, el Torrejón del World War, he observado que tiene muchos puntos en los cuales se debería hacer mucha reflexión en el buen sentido. Quiero decir, estamos recordando una historia pasada, pero que a su vez fue real y fue en las condiciones reales de dos gobiernos con un presidente y un jefe de Estado español, el cual acordaron, porque en esos tiempos la verdad que no estábamos muy allá. Es un libro que merece la pena leerlo, de verdad, yo lo aconsejo. Pero vamos, profundamente, yo lo he leído, me he quedado asombrado, ya no por el hecho del libro, sino por el hecho de las fechas, nombres, apellidos, situaciones de las cuales son totalmente verídicas. Comento, yo le he vuelto, bueno, la verdad que a amigos míos se le ha aconsejado, están asombrados, como un libro está tan bien hecho y tan bien formado, y esto requiere también muy bien la historia tanto de Estados Unidos como la primera historia de España. en los tiempos de la Guerra Civil. Y eso es muy importante para todos. Simplemente os dejo con este libro, que es un libro excepcional, el cual aconsejo a todos que se lo lean, y lo estoy muy detenidamente. Un saludo.
Hola, me llamo Carlos de la Cruz Arial, soy fotógrafo aéreo, spotter, soy aquí de Madrid, participo en la elaboración del libro Torrejón durante la Guerra Fría. Tengo mis fotografías y parte de mi archivo en él. Es un libro muy completo y creo que puedo decir que es único en el mundo, porque ninguno habla tanto de la base de Torrejón, de los americanos en la base de Torrejón. Y bueno, yo creo que está muy bien elaborado, tiene muchas fotografías, dibujos y bueno, te habla desde el principio hasta el final de los americanos en la base. Y bueno, pues una base donde yo desde pequeño, que pasaban los aviones americanos por encima de mi barrio, pues soy aficionado a muerte con todo lo que es la aviación americana y la base de Torrejón. De hecho, me fui voluntario a la mili en mi país, a la base de Torrejón, y durante 16 meses, y allí conocí pues todo lo que es los entresijos de la base, los aviones, la gente, todo, y me enamoré. La verdad es que me enamoró. Me dio mucha pena cuando se fueron los americanos en el 92. Y bueno, pues hace unos meses, Manny lo conocí por internet, una gran persona, desde luego, y me dijo que sí quería participar en la elaboración del libro, y yo encantado. Yo le entregué todos mis archivos y bueno, pues aquí está lo que es el libro. Quiero agradecer a Manny pues haber contado conmigo para elaborar el libro y espero que sea un libro entretenido y que os guste a todos. Nada más, muchas gracias a todos y bueno, pues gracias.
De parte de la editorial de Punto Rojo Libros, hemos de decir que ha sido un honor y todo un placer trabajar codo a codo con Manuel Carrazo en la edición de este libro. Desde que nos llegaron los primeros bocetos hasta ver la edición impresa en papel, tal y como se puede leer ahora, ha transcurrido un largo y placentero peregrinar por el mismo. Como decimos aquí, lo importante no es solamente el fin, sino el camino. Y la materia de este libro es exactamente esa. No solamente el fin era lo importante, sino el camino. El largo camino recorrido hasta poder llegar a la situación geopolítica actual. Hablar de cuestiones tan actuales como la que trata este libro demuestra que las cosas, aunque hayan avanzado, en el fondo de todo, seguimos estando en el punto de origen. España con Estados Unidos y Estados Unidos con España. Este libro trata, precisamente, de lo importante que es tener visión de largo plazo, aun jugándose uno su puesto en un campo de batalla, en la cama de un hospital o en la silla de un congreso. No existía el cortoplacismo inmediato de un resultado electoral, sino la visión global del mundo.